Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Cooney, Director of Community Engagement with Hospice of the Valley, and I have the great pleasure of welcoming all of you to the annual fundraiser for Help in Healing Home, a special place that shares a vision of caring and compassion in our community. Now, even though we can't be together tonight, I know that tonight's gala will surely warm your heart. We look forward to telling you more about the mission of this unique gem located right here in Phoenix. Life suddenly takes on a whole new focus when you are faced with a cancer diagnosis or the prospect of an organ transplant. Over the next hour, you'll see how our special lodging has impacted the lives of patients and caregivers who chose to stay with those who care at Help in Healing Home. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the next hour with my dear friend who has a huge and loving heart, auctiontainer Letitia Fry. Also, deepest thanks to our title sponsor, Comerica Bank, and to everyone who supports Help in Healing Home. It's a magical place that inspires healing and comfort in a caring, affordable, home-like setting. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lynn Cooney, my dear friend. What a wonderful way to start the show. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday night. I'm Letitia Fry, your auctiontainer, and welcome to Helping Heroes Virtual Gala 2020, the year none of us will ever forget. Now, while I would rather be with all of you in person, running around on my heels and chanting, I can't. But I want to thank you for joining us, not only across Arizona, but so many of our guests from Chicago and Nevada and many places that are tuning in right now. How are you, everybody? I want to welcome you here and thank you for your support of the more than 20 years and 20,000 guests that have come through the many services and beautiful environment that is Help in Healing Home. So, first and foremost, if you weren't watching the pre-show, I kind of gave you the rundown on how to have the best experience over the next 50 minutes or so. One of the things is that don't use Internet Explorer because it makes me go down to the bottom of the page, and it's really hard for you to participate in the things I'm talking about. If you use Firefox, Google Chrome, or Safari, then actually I will either be on your phone with everything below me, or I'll be split screen with everything just to the right of me. Either way, it's a way better experience. Now, because a lot of times in virtual world and galas like this, and by the way, this is live, so occasionally I'm probably going to say something that's a little off the cuff or mispronounce something, so bear with me because this is a pivot. But it's an exciting pivot and one I've been enjoying, and I'm thrilled to have it with you. So here's the deal. A lot of people in the virtual galas kind of get together at a cocktail party or a house or an office party, so I want to make sure that while you're all watching this from someone who is registered to see this stream, you are also registered to participate in our live auction, our fun tonight, and learn more about how you can continue to support us beyond this evening. So here's the deal. Helping Heroes Virtual Gala 2020, known as hhvg20.givesmart.com. hhvg20.givesmart.com. Go ahead and hop on. If you're watching it all together, then use your phones. And that's the best way to be bidding because we're going to have a chance at 5 incredible live auction items. And this is interactive. I'm actually going to be talking with you, not at you. I can see your names. I can see what you give. I can thank you in person. And we can interact even though we cannot be together. So those are the things I want you to know. But as we head into this show, one of the things I want to tell you is that you're going to hear not only from myself, from our CEO, Ron, but also from actual people that have come through as guests here at Help in Healing Home. You're also going to hear from the very architect that built this and some of our greatest donors. We have an amazing, jam-packed, incredible show that we've put here together with you. And while safe social distancing, I am right here at the Village of Help in Healing Homes on the Mayo campus. That's right, I'm in the community center right now, coming home to you from here. So, just so you know, those are everything that you're going to need to know to have a wonderful experience here tonight, a chance actually at 5 incredible live auction items and mission moments and so much more. But it's not possible to do this without our incredible sponsors, and now it's time to hear from our Arizona Market President of Comerica Bank. I'd like you now to take a listen to Steve Richens.
Hello, my name is Steve Richens. I'm the Arizona Market President for Comerica Bank. As we looked at where we could serve our communities in the most meaningful way, as we learned of the mission of Helping Healing Home, we were convinced that this would be a wonderful place to give back to the community, support those in their times of need, and look for ways to bring a little relief to those who are suffering.
Thank you again so much, Steve, and to Comerica Bank for being our title sponsor. We can't do it without you. I also want to take this moment to thank Westpac Construction, the Novi Real Estate Group, and of course, Nova Home Loans. All three of those are also our sponsors. Thank you for your incredibly generous support, particularly in this rather interesting and trying time while we move into this new format, still continuing to fundraise for those that we serve. Thank you for your support. Now, part of the show and one of the most interesting thing over the past 20 years is that I've had a chance to be here at the Village, had a chance to see the casitas, and I'm certainly, wow, see, there it goes, live TV, sitting right here in the midst of producing this show with you from the community center. But you know what? It's not that this was just put together as a beautiful campus. There is actually a reason behind where every brick lays and where every actual part of this campus, this village, exists. So there's no greater person than the architect behind it. That's right. It's Jan Millistat of Millistat and Cooper Associates, and of course, our very own doctor, Dr. David Douglas. Let's take a listen.
My name is Jan Middlestead. I'm with Middlestead Cooper Architects, and we had the honor of designing the Village complex starting about 12 years ago. In actuality, there was a lot of people involved, but the concept at the time was to have individual homes rather than one big building for two reasons. One, so we could phase the project, and also because it allows more of a residential feel. Everybody felt, and I would agree, that people in a smaller group work better together than having a large complex. So that's pretty much the way it was designed.
I think just the ability to share your experience with other people that are going through similar experience is huge in the whole therapeutic and healing process.
The site we have is extraordinary, great views in most directions, close to the hospital but not on top of it. And it's been a pleasure to work on the project, and it grows over time, and hopefully within the next few years we'll do another building or two.
Incredible. And of course, I hope you listened to what Dr. Douglas had to say about how a sense of community, actually being able to share your story, is an integral part of the healing process. That's right. And of course, Jan, incredible job with this campus. And if either of you are watching, thank you so very much. So as we move through the show, you now kind of know the what. That's what we're actually here in this physical building. But what about the why we're here tonight? So now we have had over 20,000 guests come through here. And while we actually have most of them stay at 4 to 5 weeks, we actually don't put a cap on the time that anyone spends. So now I'm going to introduce you to a very special couple. And I want you to think about this. Their cancer journey for Jeff has been going on since 2008. That's right. 12 years. While they're in Nevada, and they should be watching right now, 12 years they've been coming to what is a home to them. And I want you to listen particularly as you hear his incredible caregiver, who happens to be his beautiful wife, tell about the stresses that comes with her and the sense of community that she gets here as well. So now let's take a look and a listen, of course, to Jeff and Sarah.
My name is Jeff Roskin, and I am a patient at Help and Healing Home. And I've been pretty much coming down here every 3 months or more since January of 2008. Coming and staying at the Help and Healing Home versus just staying in a hotel, I'm around other people that also have cancer or that have a transplant or some major challenge that they're facing. And just being there and seeing them and how strong they are and how they're fighting and how they're overcoming these severe problems makes yours seem less important and less scary. And as a result of that, you do a lot better.
My name is Sarah Rosgan, and I'm a caregiver for my husband at the Help and Healing Home. My frustration as a caregiver is feeling isolated, thinking I'm the only one going through this, and coming here to the Help and Healing Home has introduced us to some amazing other caregivers and patients, and I can speak to them, and they just are teamwork, helping each other out when we feel like giving up. The state of mind is everything to healing. There's times when we first started coming here, I would avoid coming here. I would have to be here to care for my husband, but I'd stay away because I was scared. And meeting other people that have the same issues and caregivers that have the same feelings as I do, I wasn't alone, and it put me in a great place, and it made me appreciate and be more active here when we are here. Cancer almost killed us physically and financially. We were almost bankrupt because of cancer. And coming here and finding Help and Healing Home, it's second to none. It saves us so much money, and we were able to regain control of our life and our finances again.
Having cancer is one of the worst things, one of the best things that I've ever had. And part of the best thing of having cancer is having met the people at Help and Healing Home, meet all the patients and caregivers that I've been with, and staying here and being exposed to all that. That's part of that journey that's made me a better person. So to me, the Help and Healing Home, it means everything.
Jeff and Sarah, I know you're out there watching, probably safely in Nevada. First of all, it was so good seeing you last year at the breakfast. I miss seeing you in person and can't wait till we can all gather again. Thank you for courageously sharing your story and really the family that you've created here over a 12-year battle. You truly are a champion. And just so the audience knows, Sarah's also a mother, a wife, and she runs a business and is a caregiver. That is a tremendous amount of responsibility for one woman, and when she comes here, she feels calm and most supported and most hopeful. So, I want to tell you a little bit more that you're going to hear about some different, again, we call them guests. They might be here on a cancer journey like Jeff, or they might be here for a transplant. Either way, they're coming from out of state, and they're coming right in here to Arizona to one of our great medical facilities, including where I am in Mayo. But either way, it's about feeling the hope and the sense of home while they're here. So now you heard the what, the building that we're in and how it was built. You heard the why from Jeff and Sarah as to what we're doing. So now here comes the auction. That's right. So normally I should be chanting away, literally, here we go. 1,000 get a bid now, 2 now, 25, you bid a 3 now, 35 now, 4. I know, I'm dying to do it. I can't wait to be back with you, but that's not really how we do this in a virtual space. I have 5 incredible live auction items. So what I'm gonna do is pull them up one by one. I'm gonna talk through all the details to them, and I'm gonna visit with whoever the winning bidder is and tell you who that is. I will then revisit through other parts of the program and then give you a heads up, because when this program ends, I'm closing those out. So here we go. Let's start with the first actual item. So for those of you that are in Arizona, this is predominantly for you because it's an in-home dinner here, but who knows? Maybe you're actually gonna have a dinner and have some out-of-town guests that are watching this now. Michael DeMaria. Michael, I love you. M Catering. He's one of our favorite chefs and certainly one of the most philanthropic. And I'm going to say this before I talk about either of my chefs here tonight. The pandemic has hit that industry in record numbers, and yet some of them are still standing by us and donating. Whether or not you win this tonight, think about actually hiring M Catering for your catering and your safe home parties, or possibly my next chef, visit their restaurants. They've been so good to the actual entire nonprofit community throughout their careers, and they need us as much as we need them now. So let's talk about this. It's Dinner for 8 in your home by M Catering, my friend, Chef Michael DeMaria. We also have an incredible, Arizona is known for its wine now. That's right. LDV Winery have an amazing showroom and shop down in Scottsdale. Is an incredible wine. We're going to give you the wine, the M Catering, and in-home with your favorite COVID buddies. I've been calling them my quarantine buddies, where you can have a dinner for 8 safely at home. This is valued at close to $3,500, and currently right now, it is actually at Ron Jones. That's right. That's our CEO and board chair. He's at $1,150. Ron is actually at home with his beautiful wife and watching this right now. But you know what? There's a little time to outbid him, so we'll see how that goes. That's your first item. Up next, we're going to continue on this culinary journey. Do you ever watch Food Network, the show Chopped? 2019, he was the champion. But to us in Arizona, he's a rock star. That's right, it's Chef Corey Opold. He is an amazing chef that not only has the restaurant Atlas, which again, please do visit them. They've been so incredibly kind to donations like this. But here's what Corey did even more. I love these people that are really inventive and pivot during this time. He noticed that we're all stressed out. He noticed that maybe not eating the best. A lot of people have complained about gaining weight. So he decided to start a very healthy in-home service program with food. Guess what the name is? Simmer Down. I thought that was brilliant. I know I need to simmer down through COVID. So here's an opportunity for this world-famous chef to come to your home and cook for 8 of you. That's right, from the Chop star himself, Chef Corey. This is valued at $3,000, and right now my winning bid is at $1,050 with David Devine. That's right, so far David's in the lead, but this is why you're registered, this is why you bid. Click on that, take the next bid, and keep bidding high, because these values of their actual item and where the bids are, these might be the deals of the day. And all the while, remember, every bid that you actually place helps us to continue to care for those that are coming to Arizona for the best medical care they can in a loving home at Help and Healing Home. So now, let's talk about the third item. I think this is pretty cool. So just so you know, this is a world famous author, okay? If you've written 33 books and 3 made-for-TV shows, this is David Rosenfeld. And let me tell you something, his books are amazing mystery books. Now, I am a rescue dog and dog fanatic myself, so don't think because those dogs are on the cover that these actual books are for kids. They're not. It's because he and his wife, who may be watching right now, love rescuing dogs, so there's always a dog on the cover or possibly in the book. So his actual, well, mostly the protagonist, not all of the stories, but mostly center around an attorney who also loves dogs named Andy Carpenter. Here's the deal. He's going to write you into one of his next books. So this is priceless. I mean, I've done this with another author and watched it go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think about this. And the more you actually bid, instead of having maybe a small part, maybe you'll be the CEO of one of the law firms. I actually thought if I bid high enough, could I be the dog? That was my question. So here's the thing. Keep bidding on that, because right now it's David Devine, who was also my highest bidder on the last item, at $1,750. David, if you have that, I'm going to be grabbing that book to find out which character you ended up being. Now, I want you to notice what I'm wearing here tonight, because I did it on purpose. I'm wearing a black dress because I took Lynn Sue's actual, well, I saw it, we're friends, and she told me what she was wearing, so I tried to coordinate. But I want to show you something right here, this beautiful sterling silver with a very large onyx right in the middle of it, which comes from Hammer Jewelers, but it was actually donated by Linda Jones. Now, in addition to that, notice this beautiful necklace I'm wearing? That's from Gala Jewelers. They gave you an 18-inch adjustable chain, rose gold with stunning diamonds, and a pendant that actually moves. Now, I would love to tell you that there are no bids, and that's a good thing, because I actually would love to leave with this, but right now we have no bids on this. And gentlemen, if you're out there, I want to tell you something. This is a $4,000 worth of 2 pieces from 2 phenomenal jewelers here in town, but it's almost the holidays and the opening bid is $1,500. That is what's called a smart buy. So we're going to keep revisiting that to see if someone actually clicks in on that. But again, I have to remember to take this jewelry off because it is pretty gorgeous and beautiful. So thank you again to Linda for actually bringing that in. And of course, thank you so much to Ganem always. Now, that brings me actually to my 5th auction item, which is something that I've had a chance to interact with this family. They're incredible. It's the Watt family. That's right, Kimberly and Brian. We were actually just at this studio the other day, and it is gorgeous. It is Watt Integration, and let me tell you something. If you're going to take your home and create a home theater, or you're going to make it into a smart home, this is the company to do it, and they're an incredible couple. They also have their showroom and next door, the store that is Bang & Olufsen, the greatest and possibly most phenomenal innovators in sound. So here's this package, which is valued at close to $4,000. It's one of the most amazing speakers. I love them. They kind of look like art, to be quite honest with you. They're the round speakers. Those are actually the A9 wireless speakers, and they have a sound that is so crisp your entire house, but they look like artwork on the ground. Super, super cool. Also, the 3rd generation E8, those are actually the headphones. They're the wireless headphones with 35 hours of actual rechargeable and use. Incredible sound, all brought to you. And by the way, those are actually all by the Beoplay, is it? It's all by Beoplay. And they're incredible, that design from Bang & Olufsen. So right now, that's Joanne Black at $1,000 and happens to be right here in studio with me. So I'm sure she would like you to not bid, but my job is to tell you to bid. So here's what I want you to do. That's your live auction, but it's not closed. And throughout the show, I want you to continue to bid. And everybody should actually have their phones out, have their computers out, keep looking at those items, and keep clicking away. So we're almost about halfway through the show already, and it goes by really quickly. So there's going to be other ways for you to donate. But now it's actually time for me to talk to somebody that I've known now for the past year and a half, when I first came to volunteer here and learn a little bit more about Help in Healing Home. What I'm going to tell you is that while we are actively servicing the guests that we serve, COVID-19 hit this organization much like it hit so many others. But I'm so happy to tell you, they probably made one of the most successful pivots that I have ever seen in this industry since COVID started. So now, without further ado, it's time, while he's at home relaxing with his wife watching this show, to turn to our fearless leader, our CEO and board chair, Ron Jones.
Thank you, Letitia. Sharing a program with Letitia Fry is sort of like being the second lead in a production of Beauty and the Beast. But I have my Diet Coke, and I'm joining you this evening from my home. It would be wonderful if it were possible in some way for all of us to be together in one place, to hug and to visit, and to just get caught up. But of course, that is not possible. What is great, however, is that through this virtual platform, we can be together electronically, and many of our former patients and caregivers will be joining with us tonight as well. When I officially retired as president and a corporate CEO, I was looking forward to that just giving back stage of life. What I did not expect is that I would end up with almost a full-time second career as board chair and CEO of Help in Healing Home Foundation. While I am not on the payroll, I feel in many ways that the satisfaction and enrichment I receive from this effort makes me the highest compensated of any on the staff. I have watched with amazement and admiration the courage displayed by many patients and caregivers as they've journeyed through their medical challenges. Now, I've been asked tonight to give a sort of state of the foundation report. Our year at the Village has been rewarding, but it has been incredibly challenging as well. In early March, out of a heightened concern about the pandemic, we closed Help in Healing Home. The medical centers throughout the valley began pressuring us to reopen as soon as possible, knowing that their patients would be much safer during the pandemic with us rather than in a hotel environment. And they knew that patient outcomes would be improved. So while most other organizations like us around the country were laying off or terminating their employees, we retained all of our staff so we could undertake comprehensive plans to reopen as quickly as possible with all the necessary precautions taken and in place. We studied recommendations and guidelines from the Center for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, the National Institutes for Health, and we work closely with Mayo Clinic infectious disease personnel for their recommendations. And fully prepared, we reopened shortly with all in place. I'm happy to report we have now been open for over 25 weeks with no infections. I would like to review just a few of the things that we accomplished. We enlarged the televisions in all the housing units to provide for viewing without the need to huddle around a small 27-inch television screen, which frankly was all that was available when we furnished the casitas initially. With the larger viewing screens in place, we added seating to allow guests more room to distance themselves while watching television. We reconfigured furniture in the community center so we could provide greater social distancing for family and friends when they came to visit our patients and caregivers. We purchased 54 new dining room chairs for the community center. The new chairs featured a durable, non-permeable seating fabric for easy cleaning and sanitizing. We enclosed the bases on all of the 48 queen-size beds which would prevent the collection of dust and other particles which could create sanitary issues. We enlarged the dining room tables in the housing units to allow for greater distancing between the diners. We secured infrared non-contact thermometers for the checking of the temperatures of staff, patients, and caregivers daily. We secured a new state-of-the-art electronic sanitizing sprayer. The electrostatic technology offers coverage of the antimicrobial mist to hard-to-reach places, including the side, underside, and backside of surfaces. And we made surface cleaning supplies available to guests for their personal use throughout the village. We installed numerous hand gel sanitizing stations throughout the village. We increased the housekeeping staff to provide for more coverage on the weekends and evenings. And we secured over 500 cloth masks, and we have available, if needed, the N95 or 3M or a 1870 mask for patients recovering from bone marrow or stem cell transplantation. These steps represented substantial cost increases to our small not-for-profit. And frankly, currently, our finances are hurting badly. We absorbed these extra costs while having to cancel fundraising events that were scheduled for the spring and summer. For those of you who have been our supporters in the past, I want to take this opportunity tonight to thank you for that support. And for those of you who may be coming familiar with us tonight, perhaps for the first time, I invite you to join with us. Last year, we celebrated 20 years of service to over 20,000 patients and caregivers. This year marks the beginning of a new decade. While we're confident in the future, we do need your support now more than ever before. Your support during this virtual event tonight is extremely important. Won't you help us help others in the time of their life-threatening medical challenges? You know, generosity has a way of coming back to those who find it in their heart to help others. May God bless you and your loved ones during these challenging times. Thank you for joining us. And Letitia, back to the excitement. Let's get those bids going.
Amazing. And thank you, Ron. And I hope you and Linda are safe at home and enjoying this show. Thank you for all you do to continue to lead. You know, for myself in this industry, I've been in this industry now for 16 years. And as the pandemic hit, the nonprofit industry truly went upside down. I've been able to pivot very well in this virtual space, and I'm thrilled when clients like Ron and Help in Healing Homes pivot with us. But please understand what they've done while other organizations in the healthcare industry pretty much decided to close their doors. What's going to happen to the people with the actual conditions that do not stop, whether it's COVID or not? See, they took a brief stint where they had to close just to come up to CDC guidelines, but then they did all of the things that Ron just told you about. But you know that electrostatic fogger that he was talking about, that machine that actually goes through and cleans things instantaneously? It's a $5,000 machine. They bought 2 of them. Now, while we have 4 casitas in this beautiful community center that I'm in right now, they actually have 7 buildings they care for. And right now they're moving them from place to place with 6 rooms in every casita. They actually could probably use 7 of those machines. Think about that. That means they need 5 more at $5,000. It's an extra $25,000. They've spent thousands of dollars to strictly be able to open up their doors and continue servicing people that are at a moment in their lives that truthfully that COVID has taught us all. It really can happen to anyone. And I've had personal friends that have received cancer diagnoses in a time where we're all so stressed and so uncertain as it is. People that are waiting on lists for a long time for transplants. Life is still going on, even though most of us are on a pause. And for other people, the stresses that we're facing are far more than just, well, it's COVID. It's a whole lot more. And if you know that you're coming from out of state, leaving your family, leaving your friends, and coming to a loving home environment where you have a sense of community, where you have other people that understand what you're going through, and you have caregivers that can lean on other caregivers. Well, what we're providing them is far more than just a night. And I want you to think about that as we move into this next section. Now, before we do, let's check in on a little bidding, because there's been a little bit of bidding wars going on. So when I checked at that #1 item, which is with my good friend, Chef Michael DeMaria and M Catering, Benjamin Garland hopped in here at $1,500. Benjamin, right now, you're in the lead, but you still have some more time to keep going on this. Now, David Devine has actually popped back in on 2 items. So David, I love it. You're shopping. I like your mojo. It's a good thing. He's at $1,650 for Chef Corey and $1,750 because apparently I'm going to buy a book and he's going to be in it. Now, I cannot figure out, gentlemen, look at this cuff. This is from Hamra. Gorgeous diamonds. These are $4,000. It's not like you walk into a jewelry store at Christmas and say, you see that $4,000 diamond necklace? I'll give you $1,500. Doesn't work that way, but it does here today, and you actually get to help and Healing Home. So that one doesn't have any bids yet. We're waiting on that. And of course, that last one is still my good friend, Joanne Black, sitting at $1,000 in over $3,500 worth of the best Bayo Play, Bang & Olufsen from Watt Integration. That's your check-in on your auction. So let's go back and talk about this next section. Now, if you're on your phone, it's literally right under me. It's called Fun Tonight. And if you look at it, there's some suggested amounts. It doesn't mean that's what you have to do, but you'll hear me talk about $10,000, $5,000, $2,500, $1,000, a very special number known as $315, and $100. But there's also a button that says Other. Any denomination from anywhere in the world is also so very appreciated because our guests come from everywhere. So I wanted to tell you about that because while you're doing this, and if you're looking at that on a screen in a laptop, it's actually probably right to the left of me. And so here's what I want you to understand. I'm about to introduce you to a woman who is probably watching this right now, and I hope you are, because she's one of the most beautiful women, and she came from Nevada. And she's going to tell you a little bit more, but I'm just going to tell you right now that not only is this an incredibly honest journey, this is actually very graphic, and I commend her on being so brave to share her journey with you. So at this time, it's my great pleasure to help you meet a very special, very beautiful woman inside and out who will courageously share what Help and Healing Home has meant to her as she stayed here 12 months. Please welcome Sabrina.
Hi, my name is Sabrina Falcon, and I'm a patient at the Help and Healing Home. About 3 years ago, I had a basal cell removed from the tip of my nose in Chicago. I assumed I still had a nose. And the following day, I was sent to my first plastic surgeon. When she removed the cone and put the mirror in front of me, my sibling pretty much passed out in her chair. I spoke with the front desk at the Help and Healing Home, and from the minute I spoke to them, I felt the arms and the doors were open in one phone call. And it was amazing to me how my personality started to bloom and became interested in the other people that had it worse than I did. To have this wonderful facility right behind Mayo Hospital is a blessing. If you're at a hotel or you're at a family friends, people really don't know how to deal with that type of emergency. So for speaking from my own experiences on several occasions, I cannot tell you what a blessing it is to come into the room, feel like you have almost a home and not a hospital setting. And it makes you come down, and it makes you be able to relax easier, and it makes your body heal faster because you're not in a hospital setting. This place, when it's quiet, it's beautiful. The nature, when you see coyotes come up to you, or rabbits when they're being born, it's the whole environment that makes your spirit rise to where it has to be to get through things. And so that journey here it'll be something I never forget till the day I'm no longer here. This changes people's lives. It's no better place than this. I mean, has allowed so many patients to heal faster and to take that worry away, and to be able to cook for yourself and not have to eat fast food or be in a hotel where you're just secluded to that one little room and nobody talks or communicates, or you have no one to share your story with. The beauty is just not on the surface here. It's so much more that the people on the outside don't know that hasn't lived in this environment. The Help and Healing Home has given me strength. We have relationships that we'll have forever. And that is amazing to me, that if you can touch one person while you're here, you've done your job. I could have never gotten through my year without the Help and Healing Home being here. My heart is full of gratitude, and it's pretty powerful.
Now that is an incredible story, and Sabrina, thank you for sharing that with us. You know, this beautiful woman is actually a flight attendant on Southwest, and when I can go back to my normal, actual flying all over to events, I so am looking for you on one of my flights. Thank you for sharing that. And like I said before, we actually heard from her, that's a 12-month stay. I've told you before that the average person, patient, caregiver, we call them guests. They actually stay for 4 to 5 weeks, but we don't cap how long they can stay. So you remember when you met Jeff at the beginning, Jeff and Sarah, that's a battle of over 12 years with coming to and from. So why does that actually kind of matter so much here is because when I go through these different denominations, I'm going to tell you about nights. This is called Fund a Night. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is, because it's so much more than just a night. Now, when our guests come here, it's a cost of $45, but it costs us more than double that to actually allow that. And think about what they're getting. This isn't the stale environment of a hotel or worrying about whether or not it's actually a sterile environment. I've had lots of friends that have had bone marrow transplants, or they've been in the case where they've actually had different types of radiation or chemo where they're actually more susceptible to infection far before this pandemic ever started. The sterilization here is top notch. It's also imperative that they're not isolated. When you're actually staying in one of the 4 casitas, there are 6 rooms, private, each with 2 beds. They're beautiful, look just like a home, flowers, gorgeous sunsets, outdoor settings, an incredible legacy park to go through. That's what this is about. So for most people, if they're on a cancer journey and they're coming here to one of our organizations and our health institutions, like Mayo, where we actually are on the campus, it could be several visits. It could be one to come and find out from diagnosis, what is the treatment plan? Then you go home. Then you come back for treatment, or to find out if you actually got the transplant. There's recovery. Then you go home. Then you come back and you have post-ops. But you keep coming back to a familiar place that has both familiar faces and new ones. And while some of those people on the journey are further down, guess what? We have new ones that just walked in that may be very nervous and feel hopeless, or caregivers that are exhausted. They can look to those that have more experience and they can integrate together. And that's what Dr. David Douglas told you earlier, how much sharing that story, how much integrating that is a part of the healing process. Thus the name, Help in Healing Home. So this is the portion where we go through different denominations. I give you an idea of the number of nights, but it's so much more than nights. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of these COVID pivots that have been going on as well. But as we start out here tonight, we're at $10,000. It's kind of unusual, 222 nights. Think about that. $10,000, 222 nights. Well, it might sound like a lot, but again, think about how long some people stay here. That's less than the time Sabrina stayed here. So at $10,000, I'm going to tell you that we had a gift here tonight that's been given by Bert and Sandy Getz. Bert and Sandy are all the way in Chicago, so think about that in the virtual space. Here they are supporting us with $10,000, and we are actually able to thank them from Arizona while they're in Chicago. Thank you both so very much. Remember, that $10,000 gift, 222 nights. So what's more, as we go into 5,000, Ron told you earlier, and I mentioned about the cleaning fogging systems that are 5,000 apiece, and they need 5 more. There's so much more than that. See, it's also about the quality of life that we're here in. We had all the different masks, we have all the different sterilization, but this beautiful room that I'm sitting in right now, which is our community center, we can't do our volunteer events here right now. That doesn't stop our incredible guests from interacting in the casita, because remember, there's 6 rooms in each, but normally we bring them all together here. So we could do different types of nights and different types of games and maybe different dinners and catering so that they can interact even more. It truly is a home. So $5,000, well, first of all, Ron, I told you he's at home with his beautiful wife, Linda. The Ron and Linda Jones Foundation has given us $5,000. Thank you both so very much. And that $5,000 could go towards purchasing one of those cleaning mechanisms. And there's so much more for you to know. I want you to understand that in my line of work, I volunteer for all my clients. And there are a lot of clients who are in the cancer industry or in the cancer organizations, whether they're nonprofits, they're doctors, they're hospitals. I mean, it really is basically an industry with that particular disease because it runs with so many different parts and gamuts to it. But the one thing that they all have in common, whether it's pediatric, whether it's from a breast cancer, or it's a colon cancer, or any type of cancer, blood cancer, bone cancer, is that everybody has given those 4 words: you have cancer. That is something that I've personally witnessed in my family. I've personally witnessed it with kids. Then I can't imagine them saying, and by the way, now you have to leave home. Now you have to go somewhere because there's better treatment in Arizona. That's devastating. But not because of you. You can help them be one of the 20,000, that's right, 20,000 guests that we've had over 20 years that come here to feel like home, and they come back as they move through their treatment successfully and their transplants successfully. So what comes up next? The next level is $2,500, and I have 3 people that while we've been talking like this have actually jumped in, so I want to thank you. Lynn Klossway is actually one of them, right here, just popped up on my screen. Maya Shenoy, thank you so much at $2,500, and Charmy Sims. They're all in at $2,500, and I want you to remember, although we put these denominations there are so many different other amounts. I've had people at different virtuals, kids have given from their piggy bank for $25. Any denomination is a great denomination. And remember, when I get down to that 315, I'm going to highlight a little bit more about why that matters. Now, as we're moving through this, and I'm telling you more about the nights, because just so you know, 10,000 was 222 nights, 5,000 was 111 nights. When I got to 2,500 is 55 nights. But as we get those nights down, I want you to think about what's happening, because what we're really talking about is something that I know I've learned during this pandemic. This can happen to anyone. Absolutely anyone. And while many people have funded this since the beginning, they've also suddenly had to turn to it for personal reasons. Maybe a family member coming in from out of town. And that's why I'm going to tell you a little bit at this point in between our giving about some very special donors. That's right. The 2 special donors I'm talking about started before this place was even built, looking at the library and other ways that they can help support it. And think about the 20 years and all the time they've supported it when suddenly his very own brother actually needed to use it. So now I want to turn to one of our biggest bidder donors, really, but also I know them as bidders too. They're incredible. So let's take a look now and turn to a video so we can hear from a special family that's done a special gift.
Hi, I'm Carla Panessa. My husband and I, Russ Panessa, are major donors of Help and Healing Home, and it's our pleasure to do so.
When we looked at the blueprints of what was anticipated there, we saw a library. It was on the blueprints, and we pointed to that and said, that might be something we're interested in.
Healing doesn't just come about because of a successful surgery or drugs or other therapies that are applied. It comes from being in an atmosphere of compassion and empathy and caring, mutual support. And we got intrigued by helping to support that part of the healing process. We in fact, one time were walking in the parking lot, looking at each other saying, why are we involved here? We knew why, I mean, we had reasons, but then it became very surprising to us that our own family was going to use Help and Healing Home.
My brother, who lives in New York, was diagnosed with cancer. He could have come to stay with us as he went for treatment at the clinic, but he wanted to be independent. He wanted to heal himself. He He didn't want to be a bother to us, even though he would never have been. He flew in from New York. We met. He went through 5 weeks of treatment, pencil proton beam. He stayed at the casita. He told us that he has developed many friends. They still stay in touch. After 5 weeks, he had enough treatment and went back to New York. He's still in remission, feeling good, and he no doubt says over and over that the Help and Healing Home really was a place for him to heal the way he wanted to.
He told us later that being in Help and Healing Home was responsible for his healing so fast. And he said the reason was because we became family. I didn't know any of those people. And we started watching out for each other. He still is in contact with some of his patient neighbors who were in the home with their caregivers while he was here. So whenever he comes back, he always has to come over here with his wife Patty to visit and maybe to sponsor a barbecue or a buffet or something to say thank you for what you did when we needed you. And so now Russ and I have an answer why we've been involved with Help and Healing Home. Some power better than us knew something that was going to happen, and it made us feel even more involved with his healing.
What an incredible story. And again, Russ and Carla, thank you so much. They've been incredible donors. And just so you know, in a real setting that I would be, running around and chanting, they would actually have done a match. But actually, they got together with one of our other favorite donors, and that's Sharon Lewis. And together, the two of them gave a magnificent incentive gift to help us here tonight. So thank you to all of you very much for that. And amazing that Peter and Patty actually not only use this, but now when they're here just to visit you, still like to come by. It feels like home to them. So thank you to all of them, and please send our best. So while we were listening to all that, and they have their incentive gift, $1,000 is that next level, 22 nights, and a lot of names popped up. So who are they? Jeff and Sarah Roskin. I know you're out there watching, so I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. What an incredibly generous donation. Of course, Andy Dupay is actually there as well. And Christy Ray has given $1,000. Thank you to all of you. And wait, there's more. Sam Baca. Sam, I know you. You're one of my favorite incredible people behind this organization and know full well what it's about. Sam, I miss seeing you, and I can't wait to see you next year. Thank you for that $1,000. And then, of course, Bobby Marino just popped up on my screen. Bobby, thank you so much. And then, of course, Jim just popped. Jim Papillo was on there. And I think I saw Jim bidding a little bit before earlier too. So if you're on here, thank you, Jim, so much. Think of that right there. That's actually 6 of you that just gave $1,000, bringing it to $6,000. We had someone or a couple people at $2,500. We've had $5,000. We've had 10. You're doing magnificently. And the good news is tonight is that this show is going to be recorded, and you can get a chance that if you enjoyed it and somebody missed it, send it to them. We're going to be able to keep continuing to give like this, but the segment we can't do is the live auction items that I'm going to be closing out very soon after this segment. So if you're bidding on those, keep track, because I'm watching a couple different, like Benjamin Garland, who's one of our board members, is bidding on my first dinner with M Catering. So let's keep going down. We're at $500, and I want you to understand something. Even if the denominations get smaller, they actually have just as much impact, and you'll know why when I get to the one after this. So $500, Sally Ward, thank you. That's an incredible denomination. And again, we call this Fun Tonight, but I feel like that just doesn't do it justice, because it's so much more than just spending the night. It's about healing. It's about actually being close and cared for to your actual treatment, whether you're actually here for a cancer journey or you're here for a transplant journey. Either of those, incredible opportunity for you to make friends, lifelong friends, just like you heard them say about Peter. He actually still keeps in touch with the people he was in because it's a sense of community. Well, we would normally do fun activities, not only through those individual spots within those villas, but also right here. Because at any one time, if we have our 24 guests plus 24 for caregivers, which, by the way, the caregivers are 99% of the time a family member. Just like you heard Sarah say earlier, caregivers oftentimes forget to take care of themselves, and the stress is astronomical. Here they get a break and they get to be with each other. Now also, of that 99% are family members, most are actually women. And in the case of Sarah, like I said before, she's a wife, she's a mom, and she owns a business, and she's a caregiver. So remember, what you're doing is giving far more than a night. You're giving a form of, well, comfort, support, and just like the name says, healing. Really, that's what you're doing. So moving to this next number, it's important because the number is 315. Now, Ron was very adamant that we put this in, and he's right, because I want you to think back to when we could all travel freely if you were going to a hotel. Where hotel could you actually go to where you could spend in a lap of luxury with beautiful sunsets, an Arizona environment, gorgeous sheets, your incredible opportunity to have pretty much everything from flowers and every amenity around, hummingbirds and flowers, and you could stay there for 7 nights, an entire week, for $315. Now I want you to go one further. You are actually challenged with your health. That's right. You've either received a cancer diagnosis or you know that you need one of your organs or some form of transplant. An entire week for just $315. That's a magic number. If you can only press 1 tonight and you're able to give, because we know a lot of people have been challenged in many different ways, some in health, some actually through loss of job, but just for being here and spreading the word, you also help us. But 315, 7 nights. That's amazing. And of course that 100, but 315, Nancy Zillman, all the way from San Jose. Now that's amazing. That's what we love about this. Nancy, thank you. And by the way, Nancy, we know that San Jose is going through a lot right now with our fires and different things, so we want you to know how much we appreciate you and that we have you here in our thoughts in Arizona as well. Now, we just got Benjamin Garland in at $500. Thank you so much for that. And moving into the $100 area, it looks like I have Charlotte Riley that just jumped in at $100. And underneath that, Jeffrey Keltz. Now, the more people that actually jump in at 100, the better. And Jeffrey Keltz, just so you know, you're in the Village all the way from Florida. That's absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much. Think about that tonight. I had bidders and guests from Chicago. We've had Nevada. We've actually had Florida. We've had so many different, and that's the beauty of this virtual space. But remember, whether you've been here as a guest or whether you're here just because you're supporting someone on their journey, if you come through Arizona, please do stop in and see Help in Healing Home. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. So we have $500 from the one and the only Dr. David Douglas. That's right, who's actually still my winning bid at the live auction for item number 4, the jewelry I'm wearing. That's incredible. He's actually in at $1,750 in the jewelry. And as I move through a couple more denominations, we're gonna actually go close out that live auction. So this is the time where you really don't want to step away, because I'm going to count them down, going once, going twice, going 3 times, and say sold. But Graham Flashner just came in at $50. Chris Koki just came in at $50. And then, of course, I see I have McManus as well at $50. Every one of these denominations are actively coming in as we are here live with you on this Wednesday night, here towards the end of September on the 23rd. And again, think about this. We were supposed to gather in person, and we didn't stop. Nothing stopped, just like the actual pivots and changes they made to continue to serve our guests that are coming here to Arizona. And that's because of you. So now as we move through all those different denominations and you can continue to give, let's go back and close out 5 live auction items. That's right, it's done. Here we go. Now, that first live auction item, which you remember was dinner for 8 in home with none other than M Catering and the LDV Winery, is currently at Benjamin Garland, our board member, at $1,500. But because there's a little bit of a delay when I say sold, we won't know. How will you know? Because our friends at GiveSmart and Rachel are going to send you a text and an email and inform you either tonight or within the next 48 hours that you are indeed the winner. So here we go. Going once. Now, we're at $1,500. This is what it should sound like. And we're at 15, get a bid now, 2 now, 25 now, 3 now, 35 now, 4 now, 4,500, you bid at $5,000. That's what I should be doing and running around and having fun. But right now we're at 1,500. Going once. 1,500. Going twice. Last chance. 3 times. It has been sold. That's right. there goes your M Catering dinner. It has just been sold, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to our second item, which is another culinary experience for 8 of you in home with none other than Chef Corey. That's right. David Devine is sitting on this one. In fact, he's sitting on 2 items right now. $1,650 is an amazing bargain. This is a $3,000 experience for 8 from an incredible chef and a rock star, TV star, chop celebrity. So here we go. We're at $1,650. Going once, going twice, 3 times the charm. It has been sold. That's right, and your winning bidders, you will receive a text and an email. So we're moving right along here, and now we're actually up to the next item, which is about getting written into an incredible, world-renowned author's next book, and it is David Devine. So here we are. We're at $1,750. This is truly an unbelievable opportunity for you. So going once, going twice, 3rd time, waiting for that book, it has been sold. And again, you'll receive that text and confirm that you are the winning bidder. Now, before, when I actually came out, the one thing that I'm wearing, this gorgeous rose gold from Ganem Jewelers. And of course, Linda came in and brought us her incredible, she got it from Hamra, and actually brought us in this silver cuff with this incredible onyx on it. That had no bids. But then suddenly now we're at $2,000. Very smart. This is $4,000 worth of jewelry. We're currently sitting at $2,000. So here we go. And I got to tell you something, I didn't want to take it off, but now I have to. So here we are, going once, going twice. 3rd time, it has been sold. That's right, $2,000, congratulations. So we will actually remember to take these pieces off and they will lovingly go to you. Which also brings me a point before I get to this last item, that not only will you receive that text and that email because you won, but of course Help and Healing Home and our incredible staff will reach out to you to tell you how you can pick them up or we can ship them out wherever you are. Which brings us to the last one. My favorite one, from Watt Integration, because I love these wireless speakers. They're incredible. Bayo plays, that's right, and the best headphones on the market from the E8 3rd generation wireless of 35 hours, currently at $1,150 with Vanessa. Here we go. Now, $1,150, I would love to say, going $1,200 now, $13 now, $14 now, $5, $1,500, yeah, but at $16, that would be so much fun. But it looks like maybe that is working because we just got another bid in at $1,300. So now we're at $1,300 with Vanessa, so keep that going because here it comes. Going once, going twice, 3 times, it has been sold. Congratulations, those are your 5 live auction items, and of course, you have successfully raised several $1,000s that will continue to help all the nights with all of our guests for the many reasons that they come to Arizona for some of the best medical care in the world. So that's your live auction. Also want to tell you, over there on my side, there's some more names that are coming in on Fun Tonight, and you're going to learn more about that. Now, that's basically all of the different parts that I was going to close off, but we want you to keep giving, and we're going to give you ways to continue to give. So if you actually noticed on there, on the Give Smart page, that there was actually a button to take you to a raffle. That's right. There's a raffle that's been going on so that maybe you didn't get these items that you wanted to have. There are 7 items, including one that you're going to see here in a minute that we have live. One of the most amazing painters by the name of Jesse Purepoint, who's out of the Bay Area and so good to our nonprofits, has actually painted this incredible rendition of Tiger Woods. That's right. He does amazing sports paintings and so many other types. This is one of the raffle items. Every single one of my 7 raffle items are actually a minimum value of $2,000. Now there are 3 different ticket bundles that you can do. You have one ticket bundle of 100, another ticket bundle at 200, and one at 300. Now here's the good news. You actually get to choose the barrel you want to be in. So maybe it's the painting, or maybe you're after some great semi-precious jewels with the matching bag. Or here in Arizona, I know most people don't think of the fall as a time to really spruce up your house, but that's when our heat goes down. So it's an incredible package involving Lowe's and so many others when you're actually ready to do some redo on your house. What else is in there? Well, there's 2 different trips in there. For the ladies, a day at the spa. That doesn't necessarily have to be for the ladies. And of course, what else? Golf. Now, those are all 7 items, $2,000 minimum value each. Buy those tickets. One of just basically their bundles is what we call them, because there's several tickets in them. $100, $200, and $300. But it gets better than that. Now you're going to get to go all the way through Tuesday, the 29th of September, which is next week, because we're going to kind of round out this month with a little bit of fun. You can bid on those all the way through Tuesday, the 29th, and they're doing very well. And because it's actually on our home page, that's right, it's on the helpandhealinghome.org page, right there on a pop-up, all the way through the 29th, you can actually just click on there and choose which one you want to put it in. So if you buy a large bundle for $300, you don't have to put all those tickets in one. That's why we put it on our homepage. You also have a donate now button, so if you keep wanting to fund a night, by all means do, and share this link because we're going to record this show so you can show some more friends. Now, here's the other thing. We just keep on giving things because that's what Help and Healing Home is all about. You heard me mention before about the Legacy Park. That's a gorgeous park with bricks. Many of them have actually been made as commemorative gifts, whether they were honoring a loved one that is in a journey or just simply honoring someone they love. Here's the deal. If you buy the 2 second more expensive bundles, that's $200 or $300, you're going to be entered in to be a drawing of a brick. That's right. They're a 4x4 or 12x12. Obviously the 4x4 for your $200 bundle and the 12x12. And guess what? You get to be part of our Legacy Park, whether you've been here or not. You can commemorate a loved one, perhaps someone that's going through one of these journeys, or simply put your own name on there because you participated with us here tonight. So remember, that actually is going to go all the way through Tuesday, the 29th of September. I know it's hard to believe that next week we actually roll into October, but it is happening. And here's the deal. They're going to actually close it out, and then the next day, on Wednesday the 30th, the last day of September, remember, there's only 30 days in September, at 12 Pacific, because Arizona's still on Pacific time for a little while longer, you can go to our Facebook page at Help and Healing Home and watch them as they dig into those barrels and pull those winning tickets live. They're going to announce you live for all 7 items. So there you go. Tonight we have our winning bidders from our live auction. You've heard from so many people from so many different ways that Help and Healing Homes means something to them and their journeys, and also just basically in their lives. And it certainly is a gem for those of us here in Arizona. And we welcome so many of you as you come here for your treatment in your cancer journey or in your actual transplant journey. Either way, we love that you choose to come here to Arizona for your treatment, and we certainly want you to feel at home. So ladies and gentlemen, as we've had so many people here, this is an incredible opportunity. So this is getting closer to the end of this show, and it is basically time now for us to wrap it up. It's incredible how fast that goes, right? So for those of you that didn't know me, my name's Letitia Fry, and I usually chant and have a lot of fun, and actually would be running through a room and having fun with all of you. It's been wonderful to pivot with organizations like Help and Healing Home that simply would not give up or in and incurred a much greater cost to do so. But with your help, they're going to continue servicing the guests they service and pay for some of the actual expenses they incurred during COVID. Most importantly, thank you for taking the time to be with us. So now it's my turn to close out the night and turn it over to a very dear friend, and certainly someone that I know that many of you that come here know, because she's an incredible, incredible person. That's right, she's the Chief Development Officer, and her name and our friend's name, as you saw in the video, because she knows pretty much every guest that comes through here, is Cynthia Westrom.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Wenstrom, Chief Development Officer with Help and Healing Home. Tonight, it's my pleasure to address Ron Jones, our CEO, and to thank you, Ron, for all you do for Help and Healing Home, for everything you've done over the years, for making this a wonderful place for our guests to stay. My goodness, we've celebrated over 20,000 guests here, for guiding the staff, for all the wonderful things we've been able to do, but mostly for bringing us into this new virtual gala space that we're visiting with tonight. And again, your continued guidance. Thank you, Ron, for all you do for Help and Healing Home.